It is the 17th of February today, and what I'm going to show you today is something that I haven't grown for a very long time. In fact, I think they used to have a different name. I think they used to be called flower sprouts, but they've actually changed name and they're called Brukale now. They're a cross between a Brussels sprout and kale. But you will sow them in exactly the same way as you will sow any of your other brassicas, so your cabbages, your cauliflowers, your sprouting broccoli, your kale, your Brussels, all that sort of stuff. And they will grow outside exactly how you would grow all of those as well. You need to sow these February, March time. They don't mind it being a little bit cold. In fact, these ones are actually, they're very winter hardy, which means that they'll be outside for a long time over the winter period, the next year's winter period, and they'll absolutely be fine. They won't get damaged by frost or if we have snow. So this is a good thing if you live somewhere that's fairly cold. I'll keep you updated on their progress as they go through, so you can sort of see what they look like. But I'm intrigued to see how these turn out again. Okay, so let me just show you how to sow them. Okay, so I have got a little seed tray here. It's always best to start them off in the greenhouse. If you are going to start them off outside, then you can sow them straight outside in about April time. But I reckon that the germination rate, if you're sowing them inside, will actually be slightly higher. And it will just give them a bit of a head start, so that they'll have a longer growing period, and hopefully when they go out in June, then there'll be nice substantial plants. My worry is that if you sow them straight out into the soil outside, that they'll just sort of get lost, and by the time sort of June comes, they just won't be quite as big and as substantial. So that's why I'm going to start mine in the greenhouse. Now fill your seed tray practically to the top with a load of compost, just normal multi-purpose compost, and just gently pat it down so that it's nice and level. And then what we'll do is we'll just give that bit of compost a little bit of a water. Now wait for the water to drain all the way through before you sow the seeds. Now these ones are called petit posy, so it basically translates as little flower. So there are 50 seeds in one packet. I'm going to sow them all because we'll eat lots, and I expect the chickens will enjoy some as well. Now these are the seeds, again, because they're brassicas, they're little round balls. Okay, and so be careful when you hold them in your hand because they will whiz all over the place. Now just sprinkle them evenly across the compost. They are quite difficult to see. If you have got some that are too close together, don't worry about it. Remember that when they do get a little bit bigger, they get to about 2 inches high, then we are going to transplant them out into 3-inch pots. So it doesn't really matter if some of them are too close. Now because the compost is wet, the seeds will actually stick to the compost, and if we tip the tray up, they won't actually, unless of course we give it a shake, they won't roll all over the place. Now once you've sprinkled all your seeds on top, then just gently put a little bit more compost on top just to cover up the seeds. Don't pat this down, just leave it where it falls. If you find any big chunky bits like this one that won't break down, then just discard that. Okay, and then tidy the tray up just a little bit, and I'm going to leave these in the greenhouse. I'm going to put a label on them so that I know what they are, and I will leave these in the greenhouse. I'm going to put a propagator lid on the top of them, and I'm going to leave them in the greenhouse so that they'll be nice and warm, and then they'll start to grow. And then when they do come up, I'll take a picture and I'll stick it on my blog, and then you can see them and see how they're growing. But that's how you sow your Brukale. Okay, so that's the Brukale. I've got a little label in there and they're all ready, so I'll leave them in this tray here. I'll put a propagator lid over the top of them, and hopefully within a couple of weeks they would have come up, and they'll start to just sort of pop up through the surface of the soil. But I will show, I'll take a picture and I'll put it on my blog or Facebook, and then you'll be able to see it. But hopefully they'll do really well. But I will show you potting them on and all of the other stages that is needed with them, and then you can just, if you're going to grow them as well, then you can follow them on as well. Okay, well, I hope you found that useful, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye bye.